In this session, Hanh will be showing you a little bit about and talking about XML in the XML side of reports that are in version 10. We already have some XML reports, and over time and into 11, virtually all our reports will be in XML format. Now, the whole industry said everything should be in XML. That's the big thing. That was a big push from Microsoft. Most people had no clues what XML meant, and some of it's not for the faint-hearted. So we'll sort of show you a little bit about it, but the whole idea is if you do have something in an XML file structure, you then can write various translators to turn into the sorts of things you want. So if the information's in there, you then can write little programs in XML to be able to make any format you like. So if we've got the data in there, you can then produce your own special reports and you don't have to wait for us. But when you first see an XML file, you have a bit of a double take and an ASPRO, and then you come back later. The funny thing about XML is people seem to think it's just, oh, it does everything. All it is like an alphabet. It just tells you how to start some things, start and end pairs, but what's inside there has to be interpreted for a program. So there isn't a one XML. You have to know the XML for a certain application. It's a certain way. So it's not some universal thing. It's really a computer-readable file format that's set up in a way that if you don't understand some of it, hopefully you can jump over it but continue reading in the file. So it's got nothing to do except for that. It's just like a simple alphabet. You still have to build things in it. This session, we'll start straight now into XML reports with Hanh.
Okay, to the XML. In version 10, we went to a great extent of implementing our report in XML format. And just a quick go through of what is XML. It's just extensible markup language. Basically, it's just human readable. You open it up, then it looks like a text file. Machine readable, because the machine like information being built by block, so it's very easy to read. And then basically it's being used by everyone out there. It's data exchange and web friendly. Here's an example of what the XML look like. So basically you see it just start with a block and with a tag, start with a tag, and then under that tag it got a sub tags and basically just information blocks. What else involving in the XML report? The XML is the report itself, and then the Xslt is the rule set of how the XML file is being constructed. And finally the XSL, or sometimes they call it XSLT as well, is what the XML will look like. Basically, it's translating the XML to a more readable format or another XML file. How it works? 12D with the Xslt. So we provide the Xslt. So you guys don't have to worry anything about that side of things. It goes through, and 12D with the Xslt, we're creating the XML file. And then the XML file being passed through with an XSL file. And it produce either HTML file or PDF file or text file or many other formats. Basically, it's all up to the XSL file to decide what format, what translation required to do and produce the output file. So why we choose XML? Because we want to standardize our reports. And then a lot of tools are available out there that you can use to utilize this XML format. And it's very flexible. Basically, you can create an XML version 1, for example, and then you're adding some stuff later on to version 2. And most of the case is backward compatible. So it means like the XSLT you build for version 1 should work for version 2 as well. It's only the extra stuff that if you need to add to your XSLT file, you need to add in later on to work with version 2. But it's not stopping you bring that XSLT file back to version 1 and it's still working. Okay, few facts here. There are millions of XML format or schema. And 12D only can read a few of them and understand a few of the format. Because we talk about XML all the time, but people not realize that it's all up to the schema to set the rules to see how the data are being seen by the machine. An XML file or a XSD or schema can be very simple, just a person's name, an address or something like that, or extremely complex. It's something like land XML or something. It's just a combination of all the road, all the survey, surfaces, everything. Today I will guide you through how the report workflow inside 12D and how to utilize the XSL or Xslt file. We call it the translator. So basically you have your Xslt file to translate your XML file to other more user-friendly format. An Xslt file, if you open it up, it just looks like another XML file. It's very simple, clean text. And the way they work is similar to macro. It's got a few commands in there. You can start with a very simple Xslt file and then go from there. Or you can copy and paste our Xslt file and then modify to suit your need. And again, the Xslt just translating XML file into documents. The Xslt file can be pretty or can be a little bit funny. So now it's demo time. I will start 12D and show you how it works. Yep. Sorry, I haven't paid for my licenses. Okay, I'll try again. Anyway, I'm running 12D on a Mac with Windows 8 installed on it, so no wonder why it doesn't work out very well. Okay, so basically we just go straight to the report menu, for example, and go under string, supplement, pick this guy here. So under here we have a report types, so it's got a fair few in there, HTML, PDF, the original XML, CSV, simple text, or crash and tag. It's all driven by the Xslt, and you can define what you want in there. I'll show you later. But just go straight to original XML. And just open the file. Here's what it looks like. It just basically it got some information about who produced it, what coordinate system or metric system or something like that in here, and then the real data in here. Start with a report, and then that is a list of supplements, and then each of the individual supplement with all the name, changes, IPs. And with this report, you don't have to worry about your alignment string can be IP based or element based. It's do all the calculation for you. It's reverse calc everything and creating IPs in this XML report. Basically, it got heaps of information in there. Now, just go and pick up HTML table, for example, and see how it goes. Here's what it looked like. So I'm using an Xslt to do this sort of stuff. So just translating what you've seen before in the XML file into this HTML table format. It looks quite good and very easy to follow. It's not like the XML you've seen. And how do you set up this report type or different choices in here? We have just go to report, utilities, and we call it report template. So under here, you have a different type of report. It's being built and provided by 12D. So if anything outside of this is not related to our XML report standards. So we have supplement report, we have network adjustment, we have traverse spreadsheet, check break lines, check strings, and this list will grow over the time. Let's go to supplement report, for example. I make this panel a bit bigger. Just some resizing issues here. And you can customize this list. You can go and change the name. You can go and specify another Xslt file in here. The output format is very important. You have to know what the Xslt file produces. So be careful with that a little bit. And you can put comment in there as well. Now I'm just giving an example of just creating another HTML table. So just do copy and paste. Let's rename it to sample. And supplement report HTML. Okay, and write it out. Finish. Okay, just go to theory where I have my project in there. Sorry, it should be under user, sorry. So in here, I remember that, go back to here, copy, I need to open up the report, utility report template. Remember that I got the sample in here, and the file name is a bit different because I want to copy the file and make it a different name. So I'm just going and copy and paste the same thing, copy and paste it. Just quickly open up the file and just find for. I'm just simply go and change the logo, for example, and I change it to and just save it. And I go and run my report again. Oh, I didn't change the. No. Yeah, as well. Just to make sure, we just restart 12D. And go to report, string. Something went wrong. It's no surprise at all. Anyway, the idea is, if you look at one of the sample report file here, it's just plain text. And you can get free tools out there to do this sort of stuff as well. You can go and modify what you want to see. For example, in here, it got a supplement, it got name in there. If you don't want the name, you just go and knock that off. Just delete that, and then the name will disappear from your report. And a quick note is this supplement table and IP is now using the XML technology in here as well. So the supplement table is being driven by an Xslt file. And you can go and change the name of the column or swap the column around. It's all up to you to do that. And we provide another functionality in there is called XML Translate. So you can pick up any XML file. If you have an Xslt file, you can put it in here and translate it to the output format you want. I think it should be the end of my presentation. You can't wait, can you?
And did you get your other report working?
Yep. Hello. We just go back to the report. I just forgot one tiny little thing is, I forgot to pick the new one, the new format I created here. So click on sample and just try something. Something like that. And do report. You can see what happened now. Now I change my logo. So